Welcome race fans back to SVR. My name is Webbo, here to bring you today's coverage, and this is how our rookies season looks after just the one race so far. Welcome to everybody in the live chat. I will do my hellos to everyone. Unfortunately my live chat display isn't working elsewhere, so I'm having to use a secondary display, but I can still see what's going on. So VRhotlaps with the win, of course, last week out ahead of Oscar, finishing then 3 points to the good with Hervas in third, Woody in fourth, Bannon in fifth, Rizback in sixth, with Souza, Jazzy Beats, Irish Liquid, Rodrigo Fonseca and Vertigo all scoring points, of course. And a big thank you to Woody himself today. Woody has been the one to supply us with our race today. He has provided the readies for this race. It looks like we haven't got Hector running particularly well right now, so I'm just going to check in with everybody. But hi to Aria and Vicinity, and of course to the boss here as well. But I've got an all black car showing, and I've got a bunch of stuff over the top of my display. So what's the situation right now? I'm just waiting to hear from anybody who's monitoring what's going on as to whether we can use Hector properly or not. I'm going to give that a good old refresh, and I can tell you that Hervas, Pablo Diaz, is out there, and we're riding with him at the moment in P1 in this Sardegna road circuit underneath the windmills, of course, here. And he's on his I'm assuming second outlap then, and we've got wrong Hector lobby today. Okay, so I will try and figure that out. Everyone's in the wrong Hector lobby, so we'll just forget it today. Is that the case? We have a difficulty with the rookies. We're not naming our Hector lobbies particularly well, I must say. I keep firing up my live display and seeing 3 or 4 different things named fairly similar. We need very explicit instructions for Hector today. Hi to everybody, and thanks to Wask and Vader as well, everyone watching on. But Dios is in the lead, of course, 120.179. This is him now defending that pole position time and trying to extend it further by just 0.2 of a second from VRhotlaps and Oscar in P3. Irish Liquid is fourth. Oscar now pits for a new set of tyres as the cars are running virtually empty right now in this session. We've got Jazzy Beats in fifth, Rizback in sixth, Cyrus the Great and Jody in P8 out there. Rizback hoping to show off his livery today. I'm hoping that our liveries are coming through all right, because I might need to do a restart of my connection to this lobby. I did do it just before we came in, but sometimes things just don't quite work out. This is a very underutilized racetrack configuration here at Sardegna, so the drivers will not be particularly used to this as a place to go racing. You just saw in the far distance the church in the corner for the main circuit that I like to call Eagle's Corner. We won't be tackling that one today. Through this S section at the end of the lap before a sort of right angle, positively cambered exit. Running wide then is Dios out here. That is Hervas, if you're new to us. Lots of drivers going by different names. We are getting used to it, and that's an extended fast lap from Pablo Diaz. Here we can see Hotlaps then defending the lead of the championship as he fires out of that final corner as well. He gets a personal best and to within 1.5 of a second, but it is not good enough to take on Hervas's fast time out there. Oscar with a big amount of sliding going on. Verti goes into P3 with his first lap, goes out into P3. And then we have Oscar crossing the line. He's actually just starting his final hot lap there with 9 minutes having elapsed from the session. This looks like Rizback on the first part of his final flying lap, taking it fairly gently on into that corner. I think just releasing one of the rivals, but unfortunately that one did not work out for that rival. I'm sorry to say. I'll try and find out exactly who that was. I just tried to do a replay, of course, and I can't because it's in qualifying. Here is Crooked Woody. At least one of the liveries seems to have come through with the green colour scheme on the left and right hand sides. As we fire through, this driver's parking up out of the way of everybody, but unfortunately it's not quite as straightforward. It still distracts the drivers ever so slightly as they come through these flying corners. I was hoping to try and get you everything up and running today, but I say my live chat isn't working particularly well. I can just see Joe Chris is with us as well, so that's awesome to have everybody here to support their teammates. And as I say, coverage today provided by Woody, and thanks to him. ABuHaMeD goes into P3 with a new change of his name as Souza goes 4th, Verti's deposed down to 5th, got VRhotlaps finishing out there, and this is Hervas's official final lap, and he's still going at it. Here is Oscar. Looks like Oscar has run out of fuel, possibly. All I can hear is the wind on his car. He's not taking any chances out there. Yeah, many of our liveries haven't come through, so hopefully I will just be able to tell the host to hold station while I try and get everything reset. Looks like a 4-leaf clover on the side of Cyrus the Great's green livery, and we just try to see if anybody is still pushing. Fantastic Red Bull Junior cars here being used. The Stormborn does manage to set a time. There's 14 runners. I was wondering where everybody was. It looks like the first few drivers there were struggling to set their times. This is Hervas. We will try and get those liveries organised for you. Hervas with a 1:19.4. Doesn't go any faster on this one. VRhotlaps likewise. Just waiting to see, do we have anybody still on a push lap? Looks like qualifying is all but done. So I will get out of here pretty quickly as Cyrus the Great crosses the line 5.6 seconds slower than he's gone before. It just shows you how dead those tyres must have been at that time. So I am going to just get hold of our host. Who is our host? I need to just wait to see. I can't actually see our host. It must be Zenith. There we go. Okay, so I just need to message him. And I will get the qualifying result up for you. It's Hervas ahead of Hotlaps with ABuHaMeD in 3rd, Souza, Verti, Oscar down in 6th position with Rizback in 7th, Irish Liquid in 8th, Jazzy Beats, Crooked Woody, Cyrus, Bannon, Jody and Stormborn. Bannon there, the surprise to be down in 12th position. Can't have got everything together. I'm not quite sure what Zenith is saying. Race start on 0045 mark. Please don't do that. Okay, I need to get out of here so we can get our liveries together. And this is the workaround. If no one has known this before, but if the liveries are not showing, then this is the way to do it. I don't actually have a great deal in my stuff at the moment, so just promise me you'll look away for a second as I go back and find the room number. So I don't want to give that away live on the screen. Hopefully that will let me in. Okay, I've typed what I should type in, and I will hope to get some activity going. Let's hope, shall we? Let's hope we get a decent setup here. The result there, as I think things are just being restarted for us. So I will just let Zenith know. Okay, so just we'll wait for the host to actually confirm that. I hope that they didn't start the race and I now can't view it. I did say to hold. Race start on 40. Why do you keep putting that, Zenith? What does that mean? 45 past a specific minute? So we're struggling now. 15. Right, okay. Good. I think he's in the middle of reorganizing the grid or doing something there. So bear with. I think is the correct way. I don't see a way to get myself as a spectator just yet. Hopefully we'll get there. Yeah, big thank you to everyone for joining in with us. Tell us who you're here specifically to support and what your predictions are for today's round. Just remember that after the first round, Hotlaps leads Oscar and Hervas in the championship, with Woody in 4th, Bannon in 5th, Rizback in 6th, Lord Souza, Jazzy Beats, and then we've got Irish Liquid as well out there in P9. I can't see the race. Why won't it let me view the race, everybody? This is not cool. This is not cool. Yes, finally. Okay, good. We are good to go. I had a bit of a panic there. I don't usually get that displayed. Hervas on the outside, on the front row with VRhotlaps behind them. ABuHaMeD and Lord Souza will be looking for a good launch. The lights come on for 29 laps around Sardegna, and it's dropped the clutch, and it's go. A couple of the orange team are just launching away very smartly. ABuHaMeD is following Hervas there into P2, and a bog down from the gold team Oro team as the orange drivers. Lord Souza gets bumped out very rudely out to the outside there. We'll have another look at that in a moment as the Hector Motorsports team of Bannon and Rizback are trying to stay ahead of Stormborn. Hervas ahead of ABuHaMeD, the number 7 in and Oscar trying to get tucked in. Many drivers are going to find this first lap very tricky indeed. Let's go back and try and see exactly what happened from the start then. As we follow our great races, you can see Souza on the outside of this triplicate, and in fact we've got more drivers, sort of 4 or 5 going into this corner. There was contact with just the car just ahead there. That was, let me see, it was Oscar getting through, managed to get through safely, but did, I think, precipitate a particular bit of contact going on. We've got our Pablo Diaz Hervas in the lead of the race ahead of ABuHaMeD and Oscar in 3rd place. VRhotlaps in 4th, leading this championship ahead of his teammate Verti for today at least in P5. Irish Liquid in 6th, Cyrus the Great in 7th as they come out to almost finish this lap so far. We've got our Hector Motorsports team of Bannon and Rizback side by side on the long run down in towards the slight kink on the left and then the very tight right-hander. As they head in, it just unsettles the car. You're almost putting, that's another car off, and it's Lord Souza through turn 1 for the 2nd lap. In succession, Lord Souza losing places through that turn 1. I know from bitter personal experience how quickly that corner comes upon you, but he's going side by side, putting himself on the outside for the 2nd time here in 2 laps. Can't turn in across the marbles. Goes off unaided this time. The Hector Motorsports pairing follow him through, and another place drop then from Lord Souza, so it is right to the back here in P10, but he's also got Rizback side by side with him round the outside here, but tucking into the left-hand hairpin in the 3rd sector is Rizback on the low side and completing the move. So Rizback up to P10 for now at least, but it looks like Souza got a good run out of that. And that corner on the outside line cuts directly across the nose of Rizback and takes the place back. Lord Souza fighting hard here and looking for his way into the top 10 once again, hooking the car over the curb. Got a really good little bounce off that one, but it is a risky game through this final corner. Rizback then continuing to fight, and guess where Lord Souza is on the track on the way into the next corner. He has gone into the pit lane with damage after hitting the barrier, so Lord Souza will be at the very back of the grid as Hervas opens up a 2.4 second lead here for the Obsidian team. I want to say Obsidian. Have I got that right? Hervas, Team Black, essentially, but sharing a theme there with their cousins across division, the Team Obsidian in the 29. With a 2.9 second lead over ABuHaMeD. So soft tyres for Hervas out as he climbs the hill into the left-hander that finishes out sector 2. ABuHaMeD is staying with him very nicely on the medium tyres as well. Behind ABuHaMeD is VRhotlaps for the PSV Racing Team Oro drivers in P3 and then Verti in P4. We've got Irish Liquid showing very well indeed in this beautiful space-themed Team Black livery, and then the 2 green cars for Team Green here of Crooked, Woody and Cyrus the Great. Not Cyrus the Green, Cyrus the Great, who comes through then. Vader and Chris both cheering on Team Mega, of course. Team Mega not seen just yet. Actually, I'm not sure where Team Mega are being represented. Let me think. Who are they being paired with? Is it Team Orange? Team Mega? It is Team Black, right? Okay, Team Black best livery. Well, I do quite like the orange one. It is quite simple, but it is kind of funny as well. It's Jazzy Beats out there with 2 wheels on the grass, chasing down Oscar, who is second in our championship, second in the first round of the championship course, out there. In the first track that we went to. Behind them, we've got PFC Bannon, private first class Bannon in P10 with Jody in 11th. Stormborn taking a circumspect and fairly chilled start to the race, but look to her for an improvement later on. Then we've got Rizback in P13. Lord Souza, having made a pit stop, switched to the hard tyres very early. Plan Z strategy here potentially. It wasn't planning on, of course, making contact with that barrier on the outside of turn 1, but we've got Hervas leading by 4 clear seconds, but tearing through those soft tyres on only lap 4 of the 29 with ABuHaMeD. I'm afraid it looks like no, his livery has come through here. ABuHaMeD running not for Team Yellow, ABuHaMeD is in Team Yellow, I think. The PSV cars are in Team Oro, Team Gold. They're quite similar. We need a slightly lighter yellow, I think, on the Team Yellow cars, as Kim is cheering on Oscar here. Nice to see Kim of Kimmy's racing team last season, of course, as the 666 Irish Liquid, number of the beast. And then we see Verti just having a little bit of difficulty. Looks like Irish Liquid has been able to make up a position there in the beautiful black and gold over Verti there for the PSV Racing team. Woody on the medium tyres ahead of his teammate there, Cyrus the Great, and Woody happy to be in the lead of this pairing at this stage. Got a bit of a rear gunner situation going on as Team Green are continuing. Woody is the one who has scored the most in the championship so far, but of course it's very, very early days for any kind of team orders, and the drivers will potentially still be wanting to prove themselves early doors. I can see a German flag and a Ukrainian flag on Woody's front wing, so Woody just showing he's added some extra little stickers to the car there for the causes and nations that he supports. Into the pit lane comes Oscar off the Team Azul soft tyres with the damage, Oscar, already as well. So lots of work to do. It looks like Stormborn is losing out here, potentially. Jody with a better run out of the final corner. There's no boost to use here, no boost mode, overtake, push to pass, none of that rubbish, as our drivers are getting out of the final corner just that little bit more securely on the rear axle, and getting the power down there. Jody up into P10 ahead of Stormborn. Rizback down to 12th. I wonder if Rizback had to pit for damage. He hasn't changed tyres, so I think Rizback may have been off the circuit, potentially celebrating his national team's rugby victory yesterday. A little bit too hard, Rizback. I think you need to be focusing on your driving more than what Les Bleus were up to. Bannon in P9. Jazzy Beats, there's a big gap there, 10.3 seconds as Jody almost gets into the back of Bannon and Hector Motorsports team. Not having a particularly successful start to this race, but it is early days as Hervas still leads ABuHaMeD and VRhotlaps there in 3rd position. The gap's opening out apart from this bottom end of the racetrack. Oscar in P13. He's gone onto the medium tyres. That's a long way for the medium tyres to run for the rest of this race if it is trying to do a one-stop, which would normally be an early pit stop choice. We have seen the hard tyres go on, and a beautiful slide there from Oscar, but unfortunately it's not the quickest way to drive these Formula cars. This is the Red Bull Junior, of course, designed by Adrian Newey. Lord Souza in P14, he was the driver who went onto those hard tyres, and now he's putting in personal bests, getting those tyres up to temperature and finding his way around that turn 1 with a bit more success. Hervas, 7.7 seconds his lead here at Sardegna in round 2 of the championship, but look at the state of those tyres. I would imagine those tyres are dropping off quite considerably. He lost 0.5 of a second the last lap to the lap in beforehand. Let's see if Hervas decides now is the time to drop into the pits. Important to cut your losses wherever possible, but he's flogging these dead tyres until they are deader than a dead thing. Hervas 7.5 seconds. Looks like VRhotlaps has managed to get by ABuHaMeD. Can we see exactly when that was? I don't think we can. That was a fair while ago. So VRhotlaps getting past ABuHaMeD, and that was not down to a pit stop. VRhotlaps on the medium tyres, so is ABuHaMeD. And as Chris says, one of the Team Yellow cars is yellow, the other is a bit more yellow. So that's really helpful. Thank you very much, Chris. On these cloudy days, we do need a bigger contrast between the liveries, I do feel. Although, of course, Woody and his bright green machine here with, I think, if I got this right, is that Cartman on the rear of the car pulling a Mooney out there, just showing you the kind of team that Team Green are. In P5, Jazzy Beats has just got ahead of Cyrus. Let me just see if we can't see what happened there. Not quite, but it would. It's great to see. I mean, basically, Jazzy Beats, Team Orange and Team Green cars. There's fantastic contrast between the two of them out there. That's the kind of thing that we need to see more of. Bannon's in 8th place for Hector Motorsports. Really got the car hooked up now and finding his way around very nicely as Jody's in, as so is Hervas, finally in now with 32 litres of fuel remaining on the car. Hervas has his teammate Irish Liquid down in 11th, who's stuck a little bit in traffic here, with the greatest respect to the drivers at the back, but he's come out and he's managed to find cars on older tyres and journeying a little bit slower. Irish Liquid switching onto the medium tyres. I still think this is a little bit early for a one-stop onto a medium set off the softs if that's what you started on. Of course, the drivers have to change compound. They do not have to run a minimum race distance, as then we get Irish Liquid side by side with Rizbak. Rizbak will be trying to hold him off here and hold up. I think it was medium tyres, Chris, for the two at the front. As off goes. Who was that? It was one of our yellow team. It was Jody running off the circuit through that turn 1 again. In fact, let's have a look at it from Irish Liquid, whose focus here was on passing Rizbak. Oh, I think he may have been helped. I think he may have helped Jody into that off moment, as Jody was not on the normal racing line and dropping back. Then Jody to 13th position. We'll go back, confirm those tyres at the head of the race for you, as Souza is definitely on the hard tyres. Yeah, VRhotlaps on the mediums, as is ABuHaMeD, so confirming that for you. Irish is innocent, says Joe. Chris. Is that bit spoken to with fact, or is that in hope? Chris, as ABuHaMeD now 2nd place after the pit stop of Hervas. Has an amazing delta to the rest of the drivers if he can hang on to that difference, but stopping quite early there on the from the soft tyres at the start of the race, as ABuHaMeD is in P2 behind Hotlaps. And then we've got Verti in P3, who could do his teammate a favour here by holding up Hervas and creating a gap to pit into. But it is, as I say, very, very early in team relationships to start leaning on each other and asking questions of each other's ability like that. And quite apart from that is the fact that Hervas has got phenomenal speed today. Jazzy Beats has got by Crooked Woody for P5 as well. So Jazzy Beats finding some great pace like that. This was just the aftermath, I think, of the pass. So he's managed to get on by Jazzy Beats in 2 laps, has passed both Team Green cars. And he's painted his helmet with just about every different colour on the palette. Has Jazzy Beats. Let's get in nice and tight. You can see exactly what I'm talking about. But Crooked Woody in P6, hanging on to the coattails and trying to catch him as much as possible. 0.3 of a second. Then the medium tyres are wearing through very quickly. ABuHaMeD has decided to bail there, as a little bit of a dummy pit stop possibility here. As then we've got Hervas chasing down Verti. Hervas finding way to the inside line into the major point into the turn 2 officially, as turn 1 is basically the braking zone for this corner. Brand new tyres for Hervas. His gap to VRhotlaps 9.2 seconds now. Well comfortable for a pit stop. But is he going to make 2 pit stops to VRhotlaps 1, as VRhotlaps is in on the 11th lap on his medium tyres, and they're good probably for another 1 or 2 laps, I would imagine. It's all about then saving a bit of fuel. It did look like Hervas was using a great deal of fuel and tyres at the start of this race. Might have a little bit of managing to do as we develop further into this round 2. There is the church in the distance. As we look out to a different portion of the different configurations here at Sardegna. Great place to go racing. Jazzy Beats putting a distance there on Crooked Woody on that previous lap 10, and you can see beautiful pitch and yaw of the cars there through those switchbacks. A very satisfying track to get right. VRhotlaps has pitted, and he's pitted with 28 litres of fuel remaining on the car. Remember, in the Formula races here at SVR this season, no refueling is permitted, and draconian penalties as VRhotlaps drops down off the jacks, looks for an opportunity to get back out onto the track. Unfortunately for him, he's found traffic again here, and he's just a couple of tenths of a second he will be behind Woody, but on brand new medium tyres. So VRhotlaps committing to a second pit stop later on in the race, possibly a set of softs right at the end. Will we see 1 set of softs, 2 sets of mediums for most of the drivers? Diving down the inside goes VRhotlaps. There's confidence on your new tyres. The gap was open and available to him from Woody, but brilliant run from VRhotlaps here. Look how far he came back from. He used the grass on the outside of the corner and was just sniffing the chance here down the inside, the double right, and he gets by very well and cleanly. Woody struggling with understeer to the apex. Jazzy Beats is now your P2 in the Team Orange car as he comes through then 8.7 seconds away from Hervas. VRhotlaps are the drivers basically running to come second today to Hervas. This was a little bit roles reversed to the first race of the season, where VRhotlaps, of course, was the winner and victor out there. Oh wow, and to the gravel as well. VRhotlaps with absolute bags of confidence, as now we get Jazzy Beats into the pit lane and VRhotlaps retaking that second position. But look at the net loss to Hervas. It is 10.4 seconds back to VRhotlaps. ABuHaMeD keeping VRhotlaps very honest there. 1.8 seconds after 13 laps between the two. They've stopped on roughly the same laps, but look at this. ABuHaMeD on the hard tyre. So his target here is to get on to the back of VRhotlaps, use the slipstream, and rely on the fact that both drivers in front of him will have to pit for a new set of tyres potentially. I would expect that Hervas will not, at the pace and rate of tyre wear that he's going through here, I suspect he will not make the end of the race on these mediums. He has changed compound, whereas VRhotlaps has not. But ABuHaMeD in P3. It's fascinating how a guaranteed one-stop race last season has now become a real question mark as to whether the drivers can actually make this race, on a one-stop. We've extended the time slightly, I believe, a total race time and distance for this season in the Red Bull Junior cars. Verti in P4, we've got Irish Liquid in P5, the 666 there, some 28 seconds away from the lead, as Irish Liquid, I think, one of the earliest drivers to stop, and he's on medium tyres. Jazzy Beats has just made his pit stop and has been quick today, put in some clinical moves, and is up to P6. So he also just lighting up the rears very slightly behind him. We've got Oscar, who's just been off on the kiddie litter on the outside of the final turn. But Jazzy Beats shaping here for a move potentially on Irish Liquid, getting a really good slipstream as we close in and run into the cars. As Wask saying, the races are about 10 minutes longer than last year and higher tyre deck. Fantastic, just great detail there from Wask. Appreciate that. As Jazzy Beats then, I knew it didn't seem this difficult last year. Oscar, I'm not sure if he's got a little bit of lag on the car, but he has scraped quite a bit of paint off the left-hand wheel cover, as you can see there. Almost taken the entire Azul Racing sticker off the car. Woody and Cyrus for Team Green are 8th and 9th positions. Bannon is in 10th. We've got Rizback also for the Hector Motorsports team out in P11 currently. And then we've got Stormborn in 12th. She started near the back of the grid, I think, on brand new tyres. Has managed to get out ahead of Jody, who has the mediums a bit more up to temperature. Jody looking racy right now, and trying to shape with Sandra. Stormborn pulls to the inside line, taking the middle of the road away from Jody, who runs very high on the banking for a high, low, high kind of racing line through here. This might work out for Jody, who gets tucked up down the inside into the next one. Oh, fantastic. This is like we were seeing in the F1 sprint race between turns 6, 7 and 8 of China this weekend. Fantastic from Jody. Another fun, really, really fun move there. I don't know if I'm in time here, but there you can see just positioning the car on the high side. Maybe getting a little bit of contact at the back, but I don't think we'll worry too much about that. Lord Sosa, remember, making the first pit stop onto the hard tyres very, very early. It's a minute 17, a minute 18 away from the lead of the race, held by Hervas, who is now in a management phase because he has dropped a little bit of time, some 0.8 of a second to championship leader VRhotlaps with the bright green mirrors. As Smokey says, le petit pouce est fait. As the small push, I think that is, says Smokey. As VRhotlaps, they're 9.6 seconds away from Hervas or Pablo Diaz. We've got ABuHaMeD, who's dropped time from VRhotlaps. ABuHaMeD did put the hard tyres on. He needs to keep an eye on that gap to the leader if he's trying to one-stop this one. Remember, no fuel to take into account here. You can't splash and dash and refuel the cars. So you've got to keep an eye on how much fuel you've got remaining, especially if you're on a one-stop. There's a limit to the amount of fuel that you can use. But, of course, the drivers can lift and coast. They can short shift. And they can also change the engine richness of the fuel mix going in. So a little bit more air to fuel ratio going through the engine. 9 seconds now as Hotlaps is starting to really wind up the pace here. And look at that, a half-second improvement on his own personal best for VRhotlaps, with Hervas having the fastest lap at the moment, a 1:19.738. But it does look like Hervas on a management portion of the race here, actually coming up to lap Sousa. Such is his performance, and of course I have to say it's a very short track here for our drivers. Got a big battle pack in the middle, with Jazzy Beats just ahead of Irish Liquid in P6, and then Fast and Furious they come through. Oscar in 7th, who's picking up the pace nicely here, but reaching the end of his medium tyre stint, and then the two Team Green cars of Woody and Cyrus the Grey following closely behind. Let's ride on board the Team Green nose there. Points if you, I think that's Mansell, isn't it, on the front of the car there for Woody. I'm not entirely sure, maybe not. Hard to tell from this angle. And this is his view of the back of what looks to be a very laggy Oscar at this stage. Nice clear run behind Woody, leaving the carbon fibre bare surface on the car for improved weight. And we are following through here. If you're not first, you're last. Was that was a Ricky Bobby quote, was it not? So this is the improved and updated livery for Woody out there. Not quite sure what is on the helmet, but Woody's Express is how things are being described here, as he tries to hunt down Oscar, whose car is looking very, very leery out there, and that's a tricky one for Crooked Woody to find his way by. We've got Cyrus in P9, Bannon in 10th, Rizback 1.6 seconds further back and a minute back from the leader. as we have Jody skidding their way down out of the corner in P12. Again, another driver who's probably dealing with a fair amount of lag, and the Azul Racing driver of Stormborn in P13. Lord Sousa in 14th. The gap at the front of the field now, 8.5 seconds from Herbas to VRhotlaps. Both drivers I'm expecting to need to pit again. Look at the tyre deck for Herbas here. He really only knows one way to drive these cars, or any car as far as my experience with him is concerned, and that is absolutely flat out. And you have to take your hat off to drivers who approach races in that way. That is very, very brave. And lighting up the rears on the way out of the final corner as well. ABuHaMeD in P3 for Team Yellow, 17 seconds off the lead of the race. Verti a little bit further back. VRhotlaps teammate for today anyway. They're in P4. And we have Jazzy in P5, 10.7 seconds away from 4th place and 34 seconds away from the lead in 5th place. But a comfortable gap then out to Irish Liquid in 6th, Crooked Woody in 7th. Cyrus following Woody, but getting gapped slightly out here. There is a driver whose helmet Woody reminds me of, and that Cyrus's helmet reminds me of, and I'm struggling to put my finger on it. I'm thinking Lucas Di Grassi, but that could be a very, very odd one to a very strange reference for many drivers out, many fans out there. It looks like a Schumacher helmet for Oscar in P9. And our Hector Motorsports cars of Rysbach and Bannon. Rysbach has switched on to the hard tyres now, so I think we'll be good to the end of the race. And he tries to continue this one. He said don't look at his livery today. So there he is. Wow, he's even put the scoreline of France's lucky scraping win in the rugby yesterday. So it just shows how much England are in the living rent-free in the French minds, I think, is the situation there. But congratulations, Les Bleus, for another Six Nations victory. But out onto the gravel goes Rysbach, trying to keep his teammate honest here. 1.6 seconds between himself and teammate Bannon. Then we have Jody in 12th, having gapped Stormborn now. Stormborn on the medium tyres, looking like she has possibly the least fuel of anybody at this stage, so hopefully race engineer Arya and husband will be just helping her to pace the car to the end of the race. Sousa's battle scarred and cracked Team Orange Red Bull Junior car there in 14th position, as we've got Herbas chasing him down, I think, to put the lap back on the driver. 9.1 seconds as Herbas has pulled away from VRhotlaps a little bit here. We don't really get the jeopardy of dodgy or slow pit stops, but we do have, of course, the chance for drivers to one-stop their way through this race if they are good at managing the car. We were last year putting fuel in as well, but of course this season Formula cars, I would say open wheelers, but at least single seaters, are not doing refueling. It's lap 20 starting now of the 29. We're deep into the last part of this race, and VRhotlaps is 8.7 seconds further back. But what can ABuHaMeD do here on the hard tyres? He'll be the one to watch. 17.5 seconds, I feel, is probably knocking on the door of staying ahead here of Herbas and VRhotlaps out in P1 and P2. We'll see. I think certainly ABuHaMeD will be in front of VRhotlaps when he pits for the second time. Medium has been VRhotlaps' plan here, as we've had Herbas on the softs first, then the mediums. Possibly be able to use a second set of softs and have no deficit in grip relative to VRhotlaps. Cyrus pits, 16 litres of fuel remaining on the car for Cyrus. This is Verti for the PSV Racing Team Oro, Team Gold team out there. And then we have Jazzy Beats for Team Orange. Bask saying this is going to be interesting to see, I think referring to ABuHaMeD's pace relative to Herbas. But of course ABuHaMeD will be on old used hard tyres compared with Hervas, who I anticipate will probably be switching onto the softs for the second time today. Jazzy Beats looking good out there in this cloudy, dreary day. Woody has got by Irish Liquid. Has that just happened? Or had that happened previously? No, it has already happened there before the replay buffer was taking effect. Woody up into P6 as Irish Liquid's medium tyres are dying on him right now. Can Woody reach the end of the race? Another 8.5 racing, well, just over 8 laps to go. Is it time for Irish Liquid to get into the pit lane and put on a new final set of tyres? No, he thinks he should stay out. A 1:25.1 does represent, and a loss of track position does represent a significant loss there for Irish Liquid, but perhaps he feels that the soft tyres are not going to be available to him to take him to the end of the race at this stage. Oscar in P8 is on his, I think, final set of tyres there, Oscar. So just a little bit of internet lag there, connecting into the race host that I connect through, I think, that I'm viewing through. A big thank you to our host Zenith for running today. I need to try and get drivers to host if possible. There is Hervas in the pit lane, so Hervas will pit. Well, there is Hervas's teammates ready to engineer a pit stop for him. He comes into the pits. VRhotlaps, of course, goes by. And then ABuHaMeD, we will ride alongside with ABuHaMeD and see if he gets out in front of Hervas. I don't see Hervas on the pit lane exit. There is Hervas, and he's coming out of the pits behind ABuHaMeD, and that is nearly 3-second deficit. But I'm sure that Hervas, brand new soft tyres to the end of this race. He has the fastest lap of 1:19.7. If he can get anywhere near that, I think he will be in a fantastic position to try and overtake before the end of the race. But there you have it. So the deficit was somewhere nearer to about 20 to 21 seconds between for taking tyres out there in the pit lane. And Hotlaps then on the medium tyres, running into the final 10% of his fuel allowance, but 8.9 seconds to the good at the moment. His gap to Hervas is 10.3 only, and that is definitely going to be within range here. But he will have a 1 or possibly 2 lap tyre offset. Will that be enough? I think probably not. Looking at the pace of Hervas, Hotlaps pits. Hervas chases down ABuHaMeD, who will be virtually defenseless here. He would try to peel to the inside just to stop a little bit of that slipstream, but of course Hervas has to make the pass, has to make it cleanly, and has to continue his momentum here. Not into turn 2 it won't be, as we then run consecutive right-handers. This is a very open turn 3, and then into 4 and 5, which are very tricky when your tyres are dying. Oh, that's so close, as Hervas gets very, very tight on the inside compared with ABuHaMeD. Just about makes the second apex of the corners. ABuHaMeD with a slight slide. We've got Jazzy Beats and Verti both in the pit lane as well, as Hervas will now look for this chance. But of course ABuHaMeD defending the lead here, defending a possible win. But that was just candy from a baby around the outside from Hervas back into the lead of the race. Was it ever in doubt? Well, yeah, that was a problem on traction oversteer for ABuHaMeD, and just heading through the gears, and it just looked really, really easy for Hervas, who gets the inside line through a very, very easy right-hander, and then back into the lead of the race, already opening up a 0.9 of a second gap. Lap 24 coming to a conclusion. Hervas out into P1 by 1.6 seconds. His time offset is absolutely frightening. It wasn't this good in round 1. And I was expecting him to be the favourite in round 1 at Alsace Village, but he's really got this second round hooked up. He's got the setup exactly as he wants it, and he is driving the wheels off this Adrian Newey car. Only person I think that can stop Hervas today is Hervas himself. pushing too hard potentially at the end of the race. The gap for VRhotlaps to the lead, nearly 9 seconds now, as it has been for many laps. Woody now pits. Jazzy Beats promoted to 4th position. Woody going backwards very quickly there during the pit stop. Oh, he's only just stopped. It's Dale Earnhardt on the front of the car. Of course it is. But yeah, down to 7th place. I don't know if he will see Rizback closing in. Here is Rizback. Oh, Rizback takes Woody right into turn 1 and 2. And he's on the hard tyres, as presumably Woody has come out on soft tyres, so should find its way by quite easily. It's Herbas, ABuHaMeD and VRhotlaps leading our race at the moment. It's lap 25 of the 29. They have been very, very entertaining, this rookie division, and very clean as well, as the level just naturally rises here at SVR, the VR Sim Racing World Championship, into our 3rd season now, and it is of course 2026. Watching with Crooked Woody as he shapes for a successful start to his SVR career. It's been great to have so many new drivers join us. And this is the traditional place to start racing, of course, in the so-called rookie division, or beginners, I suppose, is probably a better description. We do have some drivers who took part in this very division last season. Rizback, of course, one of them, as Woody gets tucked up, as is only just a 1/4 of a second behind Rizback as they finish out lap 25, and then looking for that gap to the inside lane, but Woody being pretty patient, waiting to force an error, and unfortunately didn't have to wait very long. Rizback out with 2 wheels on the grass on the run through turn 1 and 2, and that's something we've seen several times today from different drivers. Irish Liquid P9 not able to extract exactly the same amount of performance out of the Team Black, Team Obsidian race car there. Despite his livery, his performance today, Liquid has not been out of this world. It's been very much in this world. Cyrus in 10th, Pannan in 11th. We've got Jody in 12th, Souza in 13th, and Stormborn at the moment bringing up the rear, but only nearly 6 seconds away from Lord Souza, who's had a journey today. In fact, he wasn't able to one-stop this race, switched back onto the soft tyres, wasn't happy on those hard tyres. But he's also still got 3 laps to do out of those front left tyres, so I don't know if he's having to scrub this into a 3-stopper. The leader is Herbas out there, 6.4 seconds. He'll be complaining we haven't seen much of him, but that's what you get for being dominant, I'm afraid, as we try and focus where the action is, or where the action might be on the racetrack. That is ABuHaMeD in P2 for the yellow team, and he has just, I think, passed Souza, I want to say. Is that Souza? It is Souza in P13. VRhotlaps trying to chase down ABuHaMeD. This is possibly the last big point paying challenge coming up. P3 for VRhotlaps, 2.3 seconds. He's on new soft tyres, ABuHaMeD on old hard tyres. That might just be the better tyre to be on the final lap of the race. So VRhotlaps is going to have to make this move pretty quickly, as he's burning through those soft tyres, as you would expect. Jazzy Beats, great performance today, Jazzy in P4, as he will finish quite significantly behind the podium. Verti in 5th, Oscar in P6, with Crooked Woody in P7, and then Rizback and Irish Liquid continuing their battle here. Rizback on the older hard tyres, Irish Liquid on old-ish soft tyres as they come through, and I think that is possibly Rizback having regained that place. I don't know if that's by an overtake or due to an off-track moment for Irish Liquid, but he's in 9th place at the moment and chasing down Rizback. Lap 28 of 29 for the majority of the field. Cyrus in 10th, Bannon out in 11th with Jody. 12th, Souza just trying not to get too much in the way there of, I think that's VRhotlaps getting by. It is. VRhotlaps now 1.4 seconds he's got to close and pass inside of this final lap of the race. 1:20.8 his last lap, a 22.4 looks very possible here for VRhotlaps to draw ABuHaMeD in and take the position. But I'm sure ABuHaMeD is going to be fighting this one, trying to stay out there and get a good podium result out of today's race. VRhotlaps defending the lead of the championship. Hervas started today in third in the championship, which was obviously his finishing position from the previous round. As VRhotlaps in the PSV Team Oro golden and black livery is hunting down ABuHaMeD in front. 558 VRhotlaps race number. The clouds threatening to drop some moisture on the racetrack. Oh, that could be costly. That could be the P2 gone for VRhotlaps. Looks like we've got Hervas coming into the final corner now. He is 7.7 seconds ahead of ABuHaMeD. There's a bit of gravel left there on the blue surface of the track, but Hervas was absolutely perfect today. Out there, a win in round 2 here at Sardegna for Hervas. A great performance as ABuHaMeD hangs on to P2. An equally good performance, I have to say. Fantastic from him on the one-stop strategy. VRhotlaps also then home on the podium, and he'll take good points for the championship. Jazzy Beats is probably going to be my driver of the day, I think, here today, as he comes through to some 28 seconds behind. But Jazzy Beats in a very good P4 for Team Orange. They will be absolutely ecstatic. I think the team there to pick up some great points for the team. So crossing the line in 4th. Verti comes home for PSV in 5 for Team Gold in 5th place. Oscar will come home in 6th place. I would imagine feeling a little bit disappointed. That's the trouble with starting the season so well. Woody home in 7th for Team Green, ahead of his teammate who's sliding his way on fairly new hard tyres, it has to be said, out of the final corner. Cyrus will take home P8 ahead of Rizbak for Hector Motorsports in P9. Irish Liquid in 10th for Team Black. Hector Motorsports. Bannon in 11th, sorry. Lord Souza in 12th. Very, very troublesome first 2-3 laps for Souza. But congratulations to Hervas for taking home the victory out there today. I don't think he is a Mega driver. I think that is Team Black, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Team Black is Mega. I think that is the situation. So he takes home the fastest lap, the pole, and the win there in just under 40 minutes time. It's ABuHaMeD in 2nd, VRhotlaps in 3rd. These are provisional results, of course, prior to any steward decisions. We have VRhotlaps, Jazzy Beats, Verti and Oscar rounding out the top 6, followed by Woody and Cyrus, the Team Green pairing in 7th and 8th places. Rizbak, Irish Liquid, Bannon, Souza, Stormborn and Jody. 14 drivers finishing the race today. Congratulations to everybody for picking up great points out there. I will just check in with whether we had any steward inquiries from the previous round. We did actually have some steward inquiries, so why don't we go ahead and just review those for a second while we've got some time here on the channel. We've got Jazzy Beats picking up a 3 penalty point and 15-second penalty out there. You can dive into the details of exactly what that was for on svr-racing.com, and Irish Liquid also picking up a 5-second penalty from that first round. All the details and sometimes replay videos of those decisions will be found on svr-racing.com, where you can also find our merch store as well. Thank you for hitting the positive buttons at the bottom of the video today. Thank you for being a subscriber to this and my channel, WebORed5. But for now, from everybody here, join us in just over half an hour for the S1 race, round 2 of the championship. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and we will catch you on the next race day.